Well, hello again to each and every single one of you very fine and wonderful people. My name is Sam, and I would always like to welcome you as your host to the all-new entry of the weekly series of Weird Mind Newsroom, where for this week we'll be focusing again on all forms of new releases, trailers, and some news stories in focus that you may be unfamiliar in releasing from this week. But let's move on from the intros and talking all things media that we do have in particular for this week.
Pretty.
On the first of the new releases, we'll bring a case that we've all had that sense of that one person that we may have wished to be with for a long time, that you may have went against asking due to fear and worry of rejection. But what if the case of the simple gimmick item that could grant a simple wish for those turns into what you hope for, but in this regard may lead to a nightmare connection? Well, that is what the new film from YouTuber Curry Barker has in mind for us here, as we have the release of the new horror film from him known as Obsession. Now, after breaking the mysterious One Wish Willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic played by Michael Johnston gets exactly what he asked for. However, he soon discovers that some desires come with a dark and sinister price. Now, reception for this new horror so far has been very well received, with praise in its production, performances, simple approach to horror, and proving these scares can be genuine and seen so far as one of this year's best films. If you want to see the outcome of the wish, you can check this film out now in cinemas. Now, this next release counts as both a film and TV series for reasons that happened that it started as a TV show and was planned to continue for one last go around. But after some allegations on the original creator of this adaptation's novel, it was reworked into a one-episode finale season, as it looks like the relationship across eons will be all coming to an end as we have the release of the third and final season of Good Omens. Now, the finale will see the fate of the universe hanging in the balance, and Azrael and Crowley will confront their relationship, heal old wounds, and rediscover their bond while going on a timeless expedition to save all of reality and beyond. Now, reception on this season/finale film has been a little mixed on critics' side, but underwhelmed to audiences, with praise and seeing the return of the dynamic of Martin Sheen and David Tennant, and for the narrative concept, though some feel it's a little anticlimactic and felt they could have done more instead of morphing it into a singular episode. But if you want to see how it all comes together, you can catch this full series now on Amazon Prime. On the side of proper TV shows for this week, we'll be heading to the realm of some of the superheroics for this week, and it will be a focus to a hero that may be more not really a hero, but in the raw, morally grey sense of anti-hero, where years of torment issues will see him hang up the killing, but we'll have him back to cause a bit more bloodshed for one last go around, as we have the release of the all-new Marvel special presentation with the release of Punisher One Last Kill. Now, this special will focus on Frank Castle, set to try and hang up the killing and live a normal life that does not need to focus on revenge. But that does not always fully last long, as he is pulled back into the world of crime one last time to battle an unexpected conflict. Now, reception on this new special seems to be well received on both sides, with praise in the more singular focused story, its kills, and more mature aspect to it all, even if there's one moment that has taken up the most discussion of it all, looking quite unfinished here. But if you want to see what Frank was up to before his appearance in the new Spider-Man film this summer, then you can catch the new special out now on Disney+. On the second of the shows this week, it seems to be a return to a focus of high society, a bit of scandal, and a sense of being what one another's throats once more. For all of it was the time to return to an all-out battle for excellence, as we have the release of the second season to the popular series of Rivals. The new season will follow on from the first drama-filled finale, where rivalries will push everyone to the brink, loyalties will be tested, and hearts will be broken in the pursuit of victory. But what is the true cost to war? Now, reception's new season, similar to season 1, is very well received, with praise on the narratives, cast, and building tension and rivalry from the writing and humor. If you want to see how this story will play out, you can catch the first 3 episodes now on Disney+, with a new episode releasing every Friday. The last of TV shows for this week is seeing a return to the realm of all-out action and supernatural powers, because it will take a man with an attitude, a fashionable coat, and a pair of iconic pistols, as we have the return of another video game adaptation in focus, as we have the release of the second season to the anime take on Devil May Cry. Now, narrative will continue on the plot of the focus and the continuing battle for Dante, as he takes the fight to the underworld and demons to get his revenge against those that killed his family, including the powerful adversary of Virgil. Now, reception on the second season seems to be a bit more of a positive outcome to many, that seems to improve over the issues of the first season, with better action, performances, and appealing animation. If you want to take the fight to the underworld, then you can catch the new season now on Netflix. On our sole game release for this week, we'll be returning to a series of titles that we all have a focus on connection, and when it will come down to your focus of choice that could be the outcome of its characters you control to live or see an untimely demise. As after a long gap since the previous release, we have the start of the second season of the Dark Pictures anthology, with the release of Directive 8020. The new game will see you take control of a group of astronauts aboard a spaceship of the Cassiopeia, who is sent on a mission to find a possible new place to live with this Earth slowly dying. While in cryosleep, these local novel explorers experience a situation that will have some devastating effects and begin to wonder, can we really trust anyone on this ship? Now, reception on this new entry of the series seems to be a fair bit more of a mixed to mossy received, with praise in some performances, tone, updated mechanics to character outcomes and relationships. Though though it seems most issues stem to the outcome of some of the narrative elements, character animations feeling a little stiff, and some elements of the immersion feeling a little bit off from those elements, but could still have some appeal to some. If you want to play it for yourself, you can play it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And for the last of new releases in focus this week, we'll be seeing a whole new realm and an all new world of some new indie animation that will be taking us on an all new concept of video games in a bit of a new style and perspective, as Glitch Productions alongside Rubber Ross brings us his long in development project pilot with the release of his film series of Gameoverse. The series takes place in a multiverse of video game worlds where if a game's hero defeats the main villain and completes the game, the world will be annihilated. And then the series will follow Kit, played by Erica Lindbeck, who travels across each world to stop attempting to prevent the destruction of helping each other's games villains while contending against the Syntax, who assist the heroes in order to facilitate the world's annihilation. The reception so far on the pilot seems to be liked with appeal to the new lead characters so far, the concept of the world building, the animation, and the story, and it seems most issues basically pacing. Like this could be another success for the indie animation scene. If you want to check it out for yourself and go support Ross and co-writer Aaron Hansen, then you can watch the pilot now, all on YouTube. And with all that regards now, that's all the new releases that we have for this week. Now on the first of the two trailers that we have for this week, we'll be starting off with a focus to a studio that has been quite absent for nearly a decade at this point, but it seems in the time since their last handcrafted title that they have made something truly special here, as it'll be time for an adventure beyond your home in order to rescue one of your own, as we have the first official trailer for the long-awaited passion project from Laika Studios with a trailer for Wildwood. Now based on the novel the same name, the film will follow Prue McLeod, played by Payne Elizabeth Lee, and her classmate Curtis Melberg, played by Jacob Tremblay, who are drawn to a magical hidden forest near Portland in an attempt to save Prue's kidnapped infant brother Mac from the Crows, who are led by a mysterious woman named Alexandra, that's voiced by Carey Mulligan. So like the studio of Aardman, it's an appeal and appreciation to that development approach to the craft of stop-motion animation, and I have to say they really went all in on the time and effort for this one in particular, as this one has apparently been in development for a better half of 15 years already. And while they have made a few other films in between, like Cuban Two Strings, The Box Trolls, Paranorman, and Missing Link, I have to say the studio just has that appeal, and especially with this one, as it actually looks phenomenal in detail, visually, and even from the little dialogue of this trailer. It still speaks so much in that regards, and I can feel this could be something truly special and one of this year's best, and show how much appeal animation has in this day and age. And personally, I'm very excited to check this out, and thankfully, it's not actually too far away from release either, as the adventure into the magical forest will begin into cinemas from the 23rd of October. But as for the other trailer for this week, is one that I really question how much of a marketable and story-heavy concept can come from this original series in focus when things were about science, as it seems with this one, where one small mishap by a side character of the series leads to a journey of multiversal shenanigans, and have to bring the question if this is the right person for the job to save the day, as we have the release of the trailer for the newest spin-off for the Big Bang Theory with Stuart Fails to Save the Universe. Now the series will see comic book shop owner Stuart Bloom causing the end of the universe after a mishap with a device created by Sheldon and Leonard, and is soon tasked with restoring reality along with his girlfriend Denise, geologist Bert, and quantum physicist Barry Kripke. So I have to say, to all the shows by Chuck Lorre, the one I didn't expect having this many spin-offs was Big Bang Theory, from the original that was fine, to young Sheldon, and then even to Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. So now this is quite a weird fluctuation of shows. I'm sure we'll see what will come about this in due time, as his new series will find itself released onto HBO Max on the 23rd of July. But with all that regards now, that's all the trailers that we do have for this week.
You are familiar with the thought experiment, the ship of Theseus.
You are just in time for a hefty and tasty serving of the hodgepodge straight out of the oven, as we have another array of focus of some new array of release dates, new project announcements, and a form of updates on casting aspects of news stories that we'll be focusing on overall this week. And I'm sure there is something that will appeal to you, so let's see what we have for a serving for you to sample upon. Now, a good half of the stories is once again a focus to new release announcements across all forms of media, and we start the focus array of something to do with your hands, as we return to the focus of some new sets based on the popular brand of Lego, and in this case a return to another set theme that will be going for another big piece project, and was starting from a rumored set from a couple weeks ago, and after a bit of fair waiting and discussion, it will soon be time to light the beacons of Gondor, as after a fair bit of wait, it was on Tuesday of this week that they finally revealed the large build version of Minas Tirith from the Lord of the Rings, and I have to say, it's quite the beauty to behold, I will have to say. Now, this set was revealed with a massive display in focus, with coming in around 8,200 pieces. It will come in the size of 59 centimeters tall, 62 centimeters wide, and about 37 centimeters deep and about 10 minifigures alongside it. Now, while the set is a beauty, it will set you back quite a price, as the set will come in around €650 and will be dropping on the 4th of June of this year, which may be quite a bit of a hole in your pocket and priced around the same amount as the Pokemon set of the Gen 1 from February this year. Now, there's also been a bit of debate about one of the images of the minifigs with Ganout the wife. It seems like there's sense like this damage on the torso part of the minifig in the image, and has caused a great debate about it all, but maybe it's just the lining of the fig on display. Now, personally, I do really like this, and I want to get some of these sets from the Rivendell one, Barad-dûr, and even the Shire. I do want to get them. And if LEGO would support me in that endeavor, then I'll be definitely doing a fair amount of build streams for it all, and we appreciate them even more. And I feel those look nice with the most of the focus to be from the place in my home to put it on display, but I guess we'll figure it out in future because I really like it, but I'm sure we can get about getting this, maybe some sub goal or some of that for getting in regards to stuff and things, but I guess we'll see down the line with buying this in the future. Now from physical items to streaming, I will be heading soon enough back to the galaxy far, far away on the big screen next week with the Bounty Hunter and Little Jedi Companion, but in this case we'll be focusing on another member of the Rebellion and Jedi that was a major part of the early days of the Empire before their master turned to the dark side. However, there was hope we will see them sooner, it seems to be a little longer before they are back to take the fight to the enemy. As was announced this week, the long-delayed second season of Ashoka has been confirmed it will not be releasing this year, but will now be dropping in early 2027. Now, it seems that it was long overdue for them to actually release the second season. It was teased since Celebrations last year, with the confirmation of it being bigger, with more action and battles, and a case of confirming that Rory McCann will be training the character of Balin Skull after the passing of Ray Stevenson back in May of 2023. And also Hayden Christensen will be back as Anakin for the season as well. But I feel it's probably the focus on making sure it all comes together to appease and appeal to the fans that are still out there and want to see more of Snips in that live action once more. And once there's a focus, they have an idea in mind for the saga for them to be with it in this delay. Now, while we know it will be dropping next year, the specific month and date is still up in the air. But once I hear anything new on that front, I'll provide that in a later episode. Then from one streaming service to another, we'll be going from sci-fi over to superheroes again, as we are delving into some new releases related to the MCU. And it looks like a trilogy of shows that has been going since 2021 will be properly coming to a conclusion later this year, with the official revealing that the final series in the WandaVision trilogy, with Vision Quest, has now gotten a release date, with it set to drop on Disney Plus from the 14th of October. Now, this will finally give us the insight of what happened to the White Vision we saw in the WandaVision finale, and see how he will reclaim his memories and probably find a new version of his kids of Wiccan and Speed in the process. And I'm sure we may see how they may have a presence in the upcoming Avengers films, even to the case of how does Ultron fit into this series, as he's apparently confirmed to be back in this, and if you'll have a comic accurate look to it as well. Now, I'm intrigued by this, and I was for some reason thinking we were going to get this before the new Spider-Man film, but I guess it makes sense for the gap in the fall to help lead up to Doomsday's release or so, but I'm sure we'll find out in due time. Hopefully we'll get the first bit of footage for the series real soon, but I'm sure we'll see what the series will entail by its release in mid-October. Now, keeping it to stream but moving over to a different company, it looks like a planned new adaptation of a popular series that involves some powerful heroes with high-end tech and robotics that had all the hope and appeal to be something of a success for the big screen, maybe getting a bit of some more assembly required and not seen as big enough for the big screen itself. As was announced this week that the planned live-action film based on Voltron, that will be starring Henry Cavill from Amazon Studios, will no longer be released in the cinemas and instead will be releasing straight onto Prime Video, with that window now set for release in early 2027. Now, I'm not sure why this is seeing a sudden change to streaming, as I feel if anything this would be somewhat of an appeal and success to release in cinemas, especially for Amazon, who has been still running off a successful release this year thanks to Project Hail Mary, still doing decent numbers at the box office, and give us some return of Master of the Universe, Mortal Kombat, Mario Galaxy, and others planning to have some success. I'm sure we'll have its fans to go see it, but it seems they're going the approach similar to that of Paramount, with the Avatar sequel film getting pushed to streaming instead. So maybe we'll expect a leak of this film by someone in the company to a person by email as well. Who knows? But I hope with both of them will have a chance for theatrical, because if Netflix is planning to do it for some of their big projects to come, then so can these two, and really showing them up. Now, at the moment, I'm sure we'll get some idea of what to expect from this project, the first bit of footage, our look at the title, and a proper set release date, but once you do hear anything about this, I'll provide in a later episode. Our next story focus will be mainly in the area of project announcements and updates, and for the first concept is a long-running franchise that will be in the focus of going a quarter mile at a time. I'll be all about the concept of one thing, and that is family. As was announced that a new spin-off television series based on the franchise of the Fast and Furious is in the works. Now, I can say it is just one, but there is a bit of a mixed array of sources saying that it is one, but some have also gone as far to say there's apparently 4 shows in development for this franchise, which makes me think this is getting a little out of hand, and most of this information is coming to us from the one man himself, and that's Vin Diesel. Now, I'm unsure of what they can really do with the many spin-off shows, as I know if anything there was at least 1 or 2 spin-offs in mind, from the likes of Tyrese and Ludacris looking of the concept of that before Universal went with the focus to spin off the most recent editions of the series with Hobbs and Shaw, which I would not be surprised if that is one of them as well, and the focus continue the plot set up from the 2019 film. Then again, this is Vin Diesel we're talking about with this franchise in particular, as he made a lot of promises about this franchise, from following things from Facebook to where the case the 11 was being the last films. Reports Universe was happy with Fast 10, they were going to be turned into a 3-part finale with a Fast 12, then a 2027 release before it was debunked for a March 2028 release. Then reports that the series was possibly not even going to get a conclusion because of inflated budgets and underwhelming returns, and the most egregious aspect of the most concepts post Fury 7, from magnets defying physics, drifting over submarines, Dom going rogue, and even going to space. But the most consistent is that Diesel wants them to bring back Paul Walker's character back from the finale, but have to question if it's worth it, even after the memorial scene in 7th. And don't get me started about the whole other projects talks all the time with socials from like the Chronicles of Riddick and the Rock'em Sock'em Robots and stuff like that. Where are they? So it really seems like it's unclear about the future of this franchise. Now as things stand, nothing has been properly set in stone for this, and most focus is them getting to actually make the final film of the series, but if there's anything in the follow-ups of this, I'll provide that in a later episode as well. The next project announcement, it seems that the concept of this planned franchise was a possible one and done concept after some focus shifted to other project adaptations, but there was always a hope that one day it could all come back for another globe-trotting adventure. Well, it seems that questions are being answered, and a certain Belgian creation may be back on the case, as was announced this week that a long-awaited sequel to the adventures of Tintin is finally moving ahead, with the follow-up being directed and written by Peter Jackson. Now, this was confirmed this week at the currently ongoing Cannes Film Festival, where it was brought up by conversation on a panel for Jackson. They had finally confirmed that the sequel is in development and was currently finishing writing the project, and that him and Spielberg would be looking to start production on it real soon. Now, for those uninitiated to the concept, Tintin is a series of novels from a Belgian novelist of Hers that follows Tintin, a reporter with a distinct hairstyle and his faithful companion of his dog Snowy, as he go on a grand adventure to discover the secrets of ancient treasures across land and sea. He'll come into contact with some distinct characters like the dual police officers of Thompson and Thompson, Dr. Calculus, and his longtime adventure companion of Captain Haddock. It was initially planned that they were going to have 3 Tintin films by at least 2015, with the first one releasing being Spielberg's adaptation of The Secret of the Unicorn in 2011. There are also elements of Red Rackham's Treasure and The Crab with the Golden Claws. And what was to follow was Jackson to make the next entry, but he ended up on the back burner as Warner had snatched him up to make an adaptation of The Hobbit and morph into a trilogy out of some conflict between them and Del Toro, who was making it initially as a one-off, and saw delay after delay from that trilogy and some restoration and musical documentaries about the Beatles, but it seems now that it's in full focus and has been actually running over the last few days in mind. Now, I love that Tintin adaptation. I'm all set for a new one. Has been waiting for a new entry for 15 years now. And the big question on my mind is which of the vast library of novels will they take on next and have the powerful group of creatives involved with this one too? Like, because the last one had like Edgar Wright, Kathleen Kennedy, Spielberg, Peter Jackson, and a whole other bunch of other characters in there. But I'm sure I'm still very excited for this follow-up, and I guess we'll find out soon enough. Now, as things stand, we have no set release on this project as of yet, but if there's anything about this, I'll provide that in a later episode as well. But speaking of adaptations based on some classic novels, this one has a lot of news and announcements to it all that, after initially hearing it, has me confused if this will connect to a recent take on the project or will be a whole new attempt on the source material. As is announced, we are heading to a park with some realistic animatronics again, as a confirmation that a new film adaptation based on the novel of Westworld is in the works at Warner Brothers and will be written by Jurassic Park writer David Cole. Now, the reason I say that I'm confused in approach to this project is mainly down to the concept that we have recently just had adaptation and expansion of this novel, as from 2016 to 2022, we saw the release of the HBO adaptation of Westworld that was developed by Christopher Nolan's brother Jonathan, and also from J.J. Abrams, which has me wondering in most particular instances if this will be an epilogue to the HBO series that was cancelled after its 4th season, or will be a second proper remake adaptation of the book similar to the film adaptation that we got back in 1973. But it could be leaning towards the former, as Jonathan Nolan still has intention in mind to finish the series, and that despite the cancellation, that was specified about 2 years ago, so maybe he is helping in developing this film to take itself. Now, the big question most are asking is, who is likely taking the directing duty for this? And many have started to speculate this could be Spielberg, as while recently talking on his upcoming film Disclosure Day, he's mentioned his plans to make a western as his next project, and given the setting of the novel, this could line up to what he has in mind with that, but nothing has been set in stone as of yet. I'm intrigued to find what approach this will go, and I will be getting back to finishing up that series adaptation. I think most reason I didn't finish it was I was focused on exams at the time when this show was going on, so I don't know. And while no set release date has been made as of yet, and when we can experience it, once I hear anything about this, I'll provide that in a later episode too. The last of the project announcements is one that I initially discussed as a bit of a bad news from a few weeks ago, as it seems to have a little bit of an update to this. So, a couple weeks ago, I talked about the planned project being made by Matt Brawley, who did Amphibia, and Rebecca Sugar, who made Steven Universe, that was this planned animated film about a form of spirits and culture of Thailand from Sony Animation. And it was a concept that had been potential that was worked on for about 2.5 years, since like 2023, I think, before it was announced that the project early this year or late last last year the project was being shelved by Sony, which was a bit of a disappointment, especially for Bradley, who was making this his directorial debut for a film. Many hoped for it to be changed from being lost to time. However, that has now changed, as confirmed that the film has been saved from a Thailand animation studio who has picked up the rights to the project, with this studio working on some other big projects, including last year's highest grossing film of Nisa 2. Now, the project is now looking to be shopped around at the upcoming Cannes and probably Annecy in June in order to find a distributor for it to release in the near future, and I hope it's a chance to do so, as it feels similar to the Looney Tunes films that Day Year Blew Up and Kiefer's Acme that was shelved from Warner Bros, that they have potential and proved some appeal and success from the outcome. I do hope we will see this in the very near future, and hopefully we'll be swept up real quick. But I'm sure if there's any new news about this and if we get a distributor, I'll provide that in a later episode too. Now, for the one sole bit of casting focused news we have for this week, is seen the case of seeing things that are quite unexplainable for many, but in some case for many, there is a sense that many are out there wanting to believe. As was announced, another 4 new additions will be joining the ongoing new reboot take on the X-Files to be developed by Ryan Coogler, and has already casted Danielle Deadwyler for a few weeks ago. Now, the new cast additions include Steve Buscemi, Ben Foster, Tanto Cardinal, and recent Oscar winner Amy Madigan, among a few others that are joining as well in some guest roles for the series. I'm intrigued in the likes of what to come from this in particular, as I'm interested in the approach that Coogler can do with some form of adaptations like this, that some of the big talent letting their focus for this will be interesting one, but I'm sure we can see on who will be playing this series and if there'll be even more familiar faces and cast to join as they eventually start some production on this series down the line. I'm sure if there's any more joining down the line and ideas of when we expect this release date, I'll provide that, of course, in a later episode. But what do you make of all these stories? Will you be picking up this new Lego set in a few weeks, and what other sets do you hope to see in the future? Will you be checking out the second season of Ashoka when it releases next year? Are you excited for the third entry of the WandaVision trilogy? What are your thoughts on the first 2 entries of WandaVision and I Follow Along? Do you think that Voltron film will release in cinemas or stay on streaming, and when do you expect to see it? We'll be checking out this May TV spin-offs of Fast and Furious. Are you excited for a second Tintin adaptation, and what novels do you think they will adapt for the sequel? Do you see this Westworld film as a new take on the novel or an epilogue to the recent TV adaptation? What series do you hope to pick up Raleigh and Sugar's animated film? What are your thoughts on the new cast and the concept of the X-Files reboot? Let me know what you think of all of this down below. In all that regards, that's all the news stories we do have for this week.
I love you, and I miss you.
And now it keeps with all of that, and hence episode 156 of Weird Mind Newsroom, and hope you enjoy my ramblings for probably around 25-30 minutes, give or take. It could be shorter, who knows. Anyways, let's give a quick run through and see what we have for coming up on the channel. So reviews wise, I'm just about finished up on the Last of Us review, so hopefully I'll start recording that. Once I do, I'm gonna do season 1 focus, and then I go season 2 eventually, and then I get to around to Hazmat Hotel, Smiling Friends. I'm gonna do some other stuff like Running Man, FNAF 1 and 2, and a few other projects as well on the line, as well as some snacks and box office ones I have to update, as well as the case of some variations of genres and stuff like meant to get back to, like, you know, Wicked, the Sonic films, all these different variation pieces, but I'll get to those and give my thoughts on things when I can. So look forward to those in that regards of things. And then in the case of gameplay stuff, I have done a few more Tomodachi Life streams. I'm gonna start uploading some clips and shorts that some people are clipped from from my streams, as well as gonna upload more of the VODs. I'm gonna probably try and get through put the entirety of Resident Evil up on my VODs like soon enough, quick enough anyway, to like kind of at least have that ready to go. So if you haven't watched on my Twitch, you can watch over here, and I will probably link my Twitch in my description on my channel, so at least you can go check it out when I do. But yeah, if you want to join the series, you can as well. So like you might get me and my Tomodachi Life. I'll do more of those, and I might kind of mix away with some other ones like build streams and other chat streams, but I'll see it down the line. And I'll get back to some other games like Mario Wonder, Cyberpunk, Star Wars Outlaws, and start some other stuff like Metal Gear Solid, Assassin's Creed, Atomic Heart, Silent Hill, Last of Us, Avatar, Dead Space, Indiana Jones, and all other variation stuff. So look forward to those, and even some new games like Ventilate and everything like that. So look for those in that cards of things. And then long form stuff, the AI Honest Choice video is coming, the Rewatchathon is coming, the Hormone Spores will be coming as well as some anticipated media, more time-lapse builds, and other variations of stuff as well. So all those will be coming along in due time. I'm just gonna get around to finding time work. But with that regards now, I'm gonna get an episode there for now. So if you like what you see here and want to see more from me more frequently, then simply like and subscribe. I also upload new stuff every single week, at least with this anyway. I'm hoping to reach at least 750 to 1,000 subs, so if there's any support, appreciation on that, I will be ever so grateful in that regards of things. And let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week, from the new releases, the trailers, and all the news stories that were discussed this week, and just give me your thoughts on everything that was discussed, because, you know, I appreciate you all for checking out, and I want to build a whole community in this regards of things. If you want to get yourself 10% off Pure Crack, you can use my code Sam Harrison. That's all one word, all caps, and just my full name there, and you can link down the link in the description to get yourself 10% off as we head into the summer months, keep you energized and help you sleep better. It's a delicious thing, but with that regards now, I think I'm gonna end it there for now. So as always, you all stay wonderful people, have a great day every day, doing many great things, and keeping you because no one else can do what you do. Now, of course, I've been your host Sam, and of course take care of yourself because mental health is important. I've been your host Sam, of course. I'll see you all in the next one. So take care. And I'll see you later.